Hey, welcome to DittDott. My name is Amanda, and tonight we are making pork chops. Most of the time when I make pork chops, I end up grilling them, or sometimes I will put them under the broiler. But tonight I'm going Southern and doing more of a breading, pan-fried version of pork chop. And just for fun, I'm gonna get a little creative and kind of do what I do a lot of times when I'm cooking, and that is create the dish on the fly. Like I have some ideas in my head, and I'm gonna take you along on the adventure. We'll see how this comes out. Okay, I spread out all the things that I think I might need, but I might end up grabbing more too. We'll just see how this goes. Along with these pork chops, I'm making mac and cheese in the Instapot. If you haven't seen my mac and cheese video, make sure that you watch it. I will link it in the description box below. And then I'm also making roasted vegetables. I'm going to show you a sped up version of my roasted vegetables. I just sprayed a cookie sheet and I'm just using scissors to cut the broccoli up. It just is fast and easy that way. I chose some cauliflower and break up the clumps of the big one. And then I love roasted Brussels sprouts. So just chopping off the ends, that one had a little rotten spot, and chopping them in half, kind of mixing them in. And then bacon. Oh my gosh. So just slicing it across the package of bacon and spreading it evenly across all of the vegetables. And then next, a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Last, I'm going to top with some of my homemade ranch seasoning and then put them in like a 450-degree oven. On my roasted vegetables, I put some of my homemade ranch seasoning, and on my mac and cheese, I use my secret ingredient of yeast extract. Nutritional yeast seasoning. So I'm gonna, thank you, Watson, for that lovely interruption. I'm gonna use some of these flavors on my pork chops to kind of mimic the flavors as we go along. Oh, I do already need a spoon. Okay, so in a breading mix, by the way, these little breading pans are really awesome. They clip together, and there's actually a set of 3, so if you're gonna do the traditional egg wash, breadcrumbs, wait, hold on. If you're gonna do the traditional flour, egg, and then breadcrumbs. But I'm just gonna do a 2-step process tonight. And I know it sounds crazy, and this is the part I'm like, I don't know, will this work? We'll try it, okay? I'm actually gonna use mayonnaise instead of eggs. So this is a pretty good, high quality mayonnaise. This is not like a super low calorie dinner, right? Like a lot of times I cook very healthy. These are very healthy, real ingredients, but sometimes, you know, you want to splurge a little bit. And I like doing mac and cheese as a side dish because then I eat a little bit less than I would if I was, you know, just having it as a main dish. All right, I'm gonna put some lemon juice because I want to thin out this mayonnaise. And then I'm going to use some mustard, which is another ingredient that I use in my mac and cheese. So I thought, you know, that could be kind of interesting. So we're going to see if I can get these ingredients kind of incorporated so that I can coat my pork chops in them. And I could still do that flour dip, then this, and then the breadcrumbs, but I don't know, I'm just not feeling like it tonight. Okay, so then I have panko breadcrumbs, and you can either use panko store-bought breadcrumbs, whatever, or, man, I'm having a hard time talking tonight. Let me start that over. You can use panko breadcrumbs, or you can use just the other ones in a can, or, you know, process your own in a food processor. I actually do that quite often because breadcrumbs aren't an ingredient that I always keep on hand. All right, I'm talking really fast because I'm like just really excited to try this tonight. I love trying new dishes. I think it's fun to just experiment in the kitchen and just, you know, once you've got some basics down of how things work, then you can kind of go and have fun. So I've added salt and pepper, and then I'm gonna add my ranch seasonings here. Ranch, this is a garlic powder, onion powder, dill, parsley, and chives all mixed together. I've got a YouTube Shorts video on how to make this. So I'm just kind of liberally putting that. See, I use this seasoning on a lot of things, so it's good to have it around already pre-mixed up. Oh goodness, it already smells good. Okay, so these are pork chop cutlets without the bone. You could also do it with boned in. And I'm just going to get it in my mayonnaise mixture and then coat it with some breadcrumbs and then kind of set it on this plate. So a lot of times I will work next to the stove and do it as I'm going, but tonight I just want to go ahead and have them all done up, and then that way it's easier to kind of monitor how they're cooking because you can put them in the skillet at the same time. Yeah, and I haven't had a breaded pork chop in so long, and you know, I was just like, I love my grilled pork chops. I have a balsamic glazed one that is just amazing. I think I did a video on it. I'm not sure. I have to look back. If I did, I'll link it below. And if I didn't, I need to put it on the video list. Yeah, y'all need to go ahead and comment below. What are some things that like you would like to see me cook? Because one, I love trying new things. So if you come up with a dish I've never made, then that would be amazingly fun for me. Don't you love breading fingers, right? Let's see, I think I have 6 in here. No, I think I have 8. So I think I'm actually gonna only make up 6 of these. My kids will only want 1 each, and Hubs and I will probably also only eat 1, but then it'd be nice to have some leftovers for tomorrow. Because if y'all follow me on Instagram, so y'all should do that. I'm also DittDott on Instagram. I am the like leftover queen. So a lot of times when I make something and make a YouTube video of it, then the next day you'll see me on Instagram elevating the leftovers. Like sometimes, you know, you just eat straight up leftovers as leftovers. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes I will actually completely transform it into like an entirely different dish for lunch or dinner that next day. So this is the last one. We'll get it breaded and then we'll head over to the stove. Oh, I already messed up. I was gonna put some of this nutritional yeast. It's kind of got a cheesy flavor. I was gonna put it on the breadcrumbs, but you know what? I can kind of just sprinkle it across the top here. It won't be quite the same, but this stuff is actually super good for you. Vegans use it as a cheese flavor substitute, and it's got B12 and a lot of other vitamins in it, but it has like this like interesting cheesy flavor even though it's not cheese. So I like it. All right, I'm gonna just sprinkle it on the one side, I'll be fine. All right, we'll clean this up and we'll head over to the stove. So I filled my cast iron skillet with some avocado oil, and it's like not even quite 1/4 of an inch. I'm not gonna deep fry these, I'm just pan frying them. So one helpful way to find out if your oil is hot is you can get some of the extra breadcrumbs and just dribble them in there, and if they start to fry up, then you know. Otherwise, if you take just a regular wooden like serving or cooking spoon, I don't know if it works as well with bamboo, but these are just the cheap wooden spoons. You put it in here. If it starts to bubble up, then you know that your oil is hot enough. So that one didn't boil, so I'm gonna let it keep getting hot, and then I will zoom in a little bit closer to show you when it's actually warm enough. I chose to do avocado oil. The 3 main oils that I cook with are coconut oil, avocado, and olive oil. And I like to do just pure, real fats. I mean, I cook with butter a lot too. Avocado oil has a smoking point of like 520, so it's a really good one for when you're wanting to get your skillet really nice and hot. So let's try this again. Nope, not quite. So I'll be back in just a minute when it's ready and I can show you. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in. Yeah, you see it starting to bubble up around the spoon handle there? That means this oil is now hot enough to put our food in. Once it does that, you want to move fairly quickly. So that way it doesn't get too hot. And then when I drop my pork chops in, I'm going to always go away from me and lay them down gently. And I'm trying to plan out where if I can get all of these. You don't really want to overcrowd your skillet. But on the other hand, I hate having to do it in 2 batches too. I'm probably going to have to do it in 2 batches. That's okay. So just gently lay them down so you don't splash yourself. And then we're going to let this cook. Okay, I'm on high right now, but I'm actually going to go ahead and lower it. The pork chops are cold, so they're going to lower the oil a little bit too. So I'm just going to keep my eye on that. But the reason why I'm going to like a medium, almost medium low, because I want them to cook slowly so that the breadcrumbs will have time to brown without burning, but that the pork chops actually have time to cook all the way through. If you put them down in the high heat and don't lower it, your breadcrumbs will start to burn and you'll have raw pork chops, and nobody wants that. So yeah, like medium to low is good, and you can always adjust it as needed. So I'm gonna check on my vegetables real quick. Those are looking good. Okay, so these have been cooking for a few minutes. So I'm going to very carefully, with probably my tongs and a spatula, lift up and kind of peek underneath. And it's getting some good golden brown color, so I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. Actually, I might go ahead and raise it just a smidgen. Let me try just the spatula. The problem is I don't want to splash the grease. There we go. Yeah, so here, let me show you. The color's starting to be brown, but it's not quite as brown as I want it at the end. Like, I want it more like this all over. So I'll probably flip these one more time, but just want to see how they're doing. Oh, this is going to be so delicious. So sometimes one of the most difficult things about cooking is making sure that your side dishes come out at the same time as your main dish. So with the Instapot, that's like very helpful because that mac and cheese is going to stay nice and fresh in the Instapot, just like if I had made it. It's not going to dry out. My vegetables are done, but my pork chops are not. So what I'm going to do is just set these aside, and then a few minutes before I'm ready to serve, I'm going to pop these vegetables over there in my toaster oven. This cookie sheet fits in that toaster oven, and I'll just hit the toast feature and it'll just kind of warm them up without letting them get soggy. So that's just a quick little tip there on making sure all your dishes are hot when you go to serve. Okay, I'm also super impatient cook, so I'm gonna not take my own advice, and I am going to now squeeze in more pork chops. And all my seasoned cooks are like, no, don't do that. But I am not too worried about it. We'll get it all done. I'm gonna go ahead and flip. No, that one's not ready to be flipped. I'm just hungry and it smells good and I want to eat it. So they're just doing good. I'm just gonna leave them and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so right now I'm actually using a thermometer to check. You want your pork chops to get to 145, and this one is right, well, it's actually almost close to 150. So we're gonna go ahead and pull them. See, I probably should have just waited because it has, oh, so this is a clean plate, by the way. I put that other one in the sink, and now I'm gonna go ahead and raise the heat up a little bit. There we go, looking good. Oh, perfect. That one's still, I want a little bit more brown on it. See if it's time to flip these yet. Not quite. Leave that one in there a little bit longer. Okay, so I have them all plated up, and I lost some of the breading on 2 of them with my tongs. But one other hint that I want to give you is if your skillet does start to get too hot and your pork chops are getting, the breading's getting too brown, but they're not cooked all the way through, one thing that you can do, and the reason why I picked a cast iron skillet, but really any oven friendly skillet would work, is while you're cooking them, if you have your oven like at 350 or something, then if it's the breading starting to get too burnt, you can put them in the oven and let them finish cooking in the oven, and it'll be a more gentle heat, and the pork chops will be able to cook through without continuing to burn your breading. So I didn't have to do that tonight, but I have had to do that in the past whenever I'm doing some kind of dish like this, whether it's pork chops or chicken. All right, well, let's plate this up and give it a taste. Well, I'm super excited to try this because I've never used mayonnaise in this way as a like coating for a dish. So let's see how it turned out. It looks beautiful. So I'm gonna give it a cut. Oh, you can hear the crunch of the crust, so that's good. All right, here goes. Yes. Okay, one thing I really like, and I was kind of debating about, was whether or not to add that lemon juice to thin out the mayonnaise. Like, I knew I wanted the mayonnaise to be thin, but I wasn't sure if I should add milk or water or the lemon juice. But I'm so glad I went with that lemon juice. It kind of gives a background tanginess to this, along with that mustard. That really just highlights the pork chop. And I think the mayonnaise helps keep the pork from drying out. So it's very moist, and winner, we got a winner. So one thing that I wanted to say, again, this is like is not a low calorie dish. I'm not a calorie counter. I do like to think about what I'm eating throughout a day. I know this isn't a health channel, but you know, today I knew I was going to have a higher calorie dinner, so I had a very low calorie soup for lunch, and it kind of all balances out. And when you treat yourself at home to high fat rich foods that hit those cravings, then you're less likely to maybe order something out at a restaurant, and you don't have control over the ingredients. At home, you have the control of the ingredients. I got to fry in a oil that I know is a good for me oil, and I got to use bacon that is nitrate free, and I'm controlling the quality of my ingredients, knowing that while it's a high caloric dinner, it's actually full of nutrient dense foods. So I just wanted you to kind of think of that. And thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure that you check out my mac and cheese video next if you have not already seen that one. And make sure you hit that subscribe button as we grow our foodie community on DittDott. And I will see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye.